It's time to turn off your computers and go out and touch grass. And by leaving the city behind in search of greener pastures, you just might encounter Bigfoot. That's what happens in these 3 movies. 2 of them are brand new, and one of them is a little-known Bigfoot movie that deserves some attention. Let's get squatchy with Toes of Terror. First up is Shadows of Bigfoot. It's streaming on Tubi. It's directed by Brendan Rudnicki and written by Brendan Rudnicki, Kellan Rudnicki, and Andrew Thomas. A pair of investigators and their cameraman venture into the Blackwoods forest as there have been recent disappearances and rumors of a large bipedal cryptid known commonly as Bigfoot on the loose. As they venture through the forest alone and against the local authorities' warnings, they run into various colorful characters and a ferocious beast in this found footage film. Let's get the found footage faux pas out of the way first. If you've clicked on my Found Footage 101 reviews, you know authenticity is something I find to be the most important factor in all the best found footagers, meaning that the footage captured in the cameras are free of additional production and feel like it was something filmed firsthand and there's been nothing done to the footage between that time it was taken and when you as the viewer are watching it. Any music or strange cuts or scenes that are filmed from multiple angles shatter the suspension of disbelief and takes me right out of the film. Shadows of Bigfoot commit these sins numerous times throughout the film, as additional loud sound beats and music are all up in this one. At the beginning of the film, it says that the footage was edited by professional filmmakers with enhanced sound for clarity. That's all well and good, but it's doubtful if this footage were found, the filmmakers would dishonor those who have perished with added music and jump scare beats. Additionally, unless the Bigfoot hunters are accompanied by a keyboardist of their crew, there shouldn't be any music. But in Shadows of Bigfoot, there certainly is, to the detriment of the authenticity of this film. This one also swipes a lot of scenes from more popular and better Bigfoot and camping found footage horror films. There are a few scenes where the 2 investigators are in a tent and hear sounds outside that are a little bit too much like the prolonged ending of Willow Creek. This leads to a tent attack scene that actually was orchestrated quite well, which reminded me of the lo-fi version of the bear attack scene in Backwoods. There's also some less than original scenes, including a drag-away swiped right from Wreck and an overdramatic confessional stolen right from The Blair Witch Project that should have been edited out, as they both are extremely cliched parts of found footage at this point. On the plus side, Shadows of Bigfoot offers up some very gruesome effects. Blood and intestines are strewn about the woods. The Bigfoot is angry and tears its victim to pieces. There are also a few short story beats I liked a whole hell of a lot. The reason this Bigfoot is so angry harkens back to a local legend that it witnessed its family slaughtered by hunters and is now out for gory revenge towards anyone who enters his woods. I like this Jason Voorhees-esque motivation. There are also some nice references to eyeshine that I appreciated, which is a common factor in Bigfoot sightings. The Bigfoot itself is only shown in blurry images and rarely seen clearly, but the fact that you get a decent close-up in the opening reel shows some work has been done to make this guy look like the real deal. I think I'm going to give Shadows of Bigfoot 2 solid feats. While the acting is rough, the 2 leads are okay, and they do have a cast of colorful characters that helps up the body count. But the Voorhees-esque like origin, decent costume, and solid attack scenes make Shadows of Bigfoot a cut above most in this genre, despite its found footage faux pas. Feet of Death is new streaming on Tubi. It's directed and written by James Chick. The death of an influencer is just the latest in a series of maulings that have occurred in the area near Mount St. Helens. The deaths have been written off as animal attacks, but a forest ranger and a local cop have a theory that the legendary Bigfoot may be responsible. I've seen a ton of Bigfoot films and by now know the routine. A college of some kind sponsors a research group that goes into the woods to find Bigfoot. They conquer all odds when no one else has done so and actually find the beast. Bigfoot attacks the group, killing most of them except for John Schneider, who perilously beats the Bigfoot. So when a film comes along and actually tries to tell a different kind of story, I have to give it some appreciation. Feet of Death tries to do some different things with the Bigfoot legend. Some of it reminds me of Shriek of the Mutilated, while other parts feel like a lot of time and energy was put into the script to take it some new places, looking at how rangers and cops investigate these types of paranormal occurrences, or rather, rely on any excuse other than Bigfoot to explain away the sightings. It also goes to some very dark places towards the end, which is appreciated, but I don't want to spoil too much. Yes, the acting isn't top tier, but it isn't awful either. There's an awful lot of drama here, as the forest ranger lost his wife to an attack a year ago, and he's still scarred by the loss. I really liked the heartfelt discussion between the forest ranger and his supervisor right before the climax, as it felt natural and resonated quite a bit. The script has some issues, as Feet of Death relies a little too much on down-home colloquialisms and gets very exposition-y during the climax, which extends the runtime to a way too long hour and 45 minutes. Also, though both the ranger and the cop clearly see a man attacked by Bigfoot on some trail cam footage, the ranger still seems to doubt the existence of the monster. It just felt as if the script made him stubborn and cynical, only to make more time for arguments between the two characters. The Bigfoot is pretty well done here. While it obviously is a man in a suit, the actor hunches over and really acts like a primate, rather than simply strolling around upright like a guy in a snowsuit. At times, he uses his arms to walk on all fours when it pounces to attack. The face is also articulated decently, though most of the time it's obscured by shadow. I'm going to give Feet of Death a score of 2 feet and 1 toe. That's better than average. Again, new ideas are what the Bigfoot genre really needs, as pretty much all of them follow the same path. It's low budget, but Feet of Death at least tries to tell a new kind of story. Bloodstalkers, aka The Night Daniel Died, was released in 1976 and is streaming on Tubi. It's directed and written by Robert W. Morgan. A quartet of hip campers head to a cabin in the Florida Everglades. After settling in, they're terrorized by something mysterious in the woods the locals call bloodstalkers. Is it a pack of Bigfoots, or inbred hillbillies, or both, or neither? Hint, it's one of those. Bloodstalkers, aka The Night Daniel Died, is a movie that gets better and better the longer you watch. Released in the late 70s, it has all the earmarks of a grindhouser of that era. Bouncy hep gals, guys too old to be walking around with their shirt off, going around with their shirt off, city folk venturing into the country and not being accepted by the country folk, like the producers saw Deliverance and said, "Do that." Actual religion being shown in movies, wispy hair, bell-bottoms, suggestions of a couple swap. This one's got it all. But despite having all of these things, it also stands out as a genuinely scary and truly interesting story with layers and surprises. While one of the best things about Bloodstalkers is the ongoing mystery of what exactly is stalking them, the longer it goes, the more it seems evident that it's a Bigfoot. There are screeches in the woods that take the campers and viewer by surprise. There's a specific scene where something walks into the water while one couple is swimming that is something right out of a nightmare. There's also a scene right out of Boggy Creek where a hairy arm grabs someone through a window, and a scene in the cabin where the monster's face emerges from the darkness that I found utterly disturbing. These scenes are not only representative of the elusive Bigfoot, but genuinely scary to boot. Without revealing too much, there is a twist at the end that is more reminiscent of Shriek of the Mutilated than any other Bigfooter. If you've seen that golden oldie Bigfoot flick, then you might have some idea about the final twist of Bloodstalkers. The mystery goes on until the end, even after the cabin attack. It's a powerful statement about the resentment country folk feel towards city folk and that their own survival is more important than outsiders. This point is driven home when one of the campers goes to a Baptist church and even they refuse to help him. There's also a very cool way Bloodstalkers handles sound worth noting. There are scenes where people are talking, but the camera focuses on the scenery or specific objects other than that person. It establishes the environment where the action takes place while providing important discourse on the story. On the flip side, there are other scenes where two actors are talking, you know what they're saying to one another, but there's no sound to the dialogue. And instead, in one case, a church revival sings loudly. This was one of the more artful scenes of Bloodstalkers, another indication that this movie is much better than the drive-in schlock the title and opening moments suggest. I'm going to give Bloodstalkers 4 mighty feats. That's a powerful recommendation for a Bigfoot film. This isn't necessarily a film about a Bigfoot, but it still falls into that category. This film was also known as The Night Daniel Died, which is odd simply because Daniel is a smaller character and not the star of the film. It'd be like calling Friday the 13th The Night Kevin Bacon Died. Still, this is a fun one. Imagine if Rambo and 3 of his friends go camping and run into Bigfoot and some hillbillies. There's just something special about this one. It's scary, super gory, moody, artsy, and it'll make you think. You don't usually get 2 of those in Bigfootin' movies, so be sure to seek out Bloodstalkers. What say you? What are your thoughts on Bigfoot and Bigfoot films? And have you seen any of these films that I talked about today? Let me know down in the comments. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're doomed. Oh, you're doomed. You're doomed. Live the life that you are meant to be. To live inside that